My name is Doug Busbee, and I stand before you today representing farmers, business people, and the conservation community across South Carolina. We have great concerns about the current surface water law and its detrimental effects on South Carolina rivers and ultimately its citizens. Until the winter of 2013, I never really thought of myself as a conservationist. I hunted, I fished, I loved the outdoors. I tried to be good stewards of what the Lord had entrusted to us, but I just never saw the need to join a group and cause a fuss. Our community was very shocked when a giant farm showed up on the banks of the Edisto. For many years, the general understanding was that the river was protected from development that would endanger it. Locals had been levied heavy fines and even threatened with jail time for tampering with it. The farm had been registered to withdraw 800 million gallons per month and was already starting to develop a second farm 3 miles downstream of almost the same proportion. We quickly learned that the South Carolina surface water laws had been changed and put into effect January 1st, 2012. We began to learn of the law's inadequacies, and we began to see just what was attracting these large farms. It was our water and South Carolina's very loose agricultural water withdrawal rules. We began to speak out and were labeled as radical environmentalists and extremists by our own South Carolina Farm Bureau, where many of us have been members for 40 and 50 years. Farm Bureau began a vigorous lobbying campaign called Save SC Farmers, which tried to pit South Carolina farmers against the conservation community, when in reality, our goals are the same. The major flaws that we see in the law that are detrimental to South Carolina's rivers and streams, and ultimately its citizens, are: it is possible for any river or stream in South Carolina to be pumped completely dry, with no penalties or consideration of fairness for downstream users or respect for navigable waters. Withdrawal formula is based on median flows, which creates a scenario where the amount drawn out of a stream or river can be as much as 5 to 6 times the actual flow during summer months and low flow periods. There's no public notice or transparency is required in the current registration process, even though downstream users may be losing their riparian rights. There's no input from DNR, who know and understand the river best. It is not allowed or required when considering current water withdrawal registration. Water grants are forever. We'll say that again. Water grants are forever with no review, regardless of changing circumstances. It is also possible and legal under the current law that one person can take the entire flow of any South Carolina river for as many as five months of the year. I spent the past year reaching out to as many South Carolina farmers as possible. And I can assure you that Farm Bureau does not speak for all farmers. Let me say that again. I can assure you that Farm Bureau does not speak for all farmers. There's some here in the room today. But I am a Farm Bureau member. And I do believe it's a good organization. And I do believe it's worthy of being a part of. And if they're going to make the laws, I'm going to be a part of them. I believe that agriculture is the key to economic prosperity in rural South Carolina. But I am also aware that overdevelopment is much worse than no development. There's a notion coming from Farm Bureau and the ag community that we need to wait on science. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. I have spent hours talking to the USGS and DNR scientists. They assure me that millions of taxpayer dollars have already been spent studying surface water and groundwater of South Carolina in real-time data over 70 years. They fully understand the workings of every river basin in South Carolina. The science has been done, and here it is. It's right here. They have done the studies. They know what's in the river. They know what we can use and can't use. They know what will hurt us. All we got to do is ask for it, and it's free. It's free. We don't have to spend another $1 million, $2 million to understand it. USGS and DNR got it. Senators, the Edisto is the canary in the coal mine. We have already seen historic lows, even though we're not in a drought. And even now, with all the recent rains, the Edisto continues to be 2/3 of its average flow for this time of year. The fight is not just about the Edisto, it is about every stream and river in South Carolina. This can happen anywhere in the state, from the mountains to the sea. Senators, we need you to take a leading role in helping remedy this ticking bomb. As lawmakers of South Carolina, you are the stewards of our public resources. Water is our most precious resource. No dollar amount can be placed upon it, or without it, there is no life. Citizens from every walk of life all over South Carolina are coming together in a unified grassroots effort called SC Rivers Forever to support change in the current surface water law. We have an unusual opportunity to get ahead of the curve and learn from the states that are in crisis right now. California is facing water regulations right now. The problem is they just don't have any water to regulate. We still do. We still do. I am asking for you to diligently seek a solution to the flaws in the current surface water law that is fair for South Carolina streams, rivers, citizens, and especially South Carolina farmers, who are the cornerstones of our communities. Thank you for hearing my cry. Sincerely, Doug Busbee.